Morning, church.
Good morning.
Giving honor to the Spirit of Christ, the Lord of my life. I'd like to acknowledge our apostle, Stephen Clark, and First Lady, not here with us today. And today, we wanted to talk about an aspect of exercise. We want to hit it.
Yes.
And if I was to use a verse of scripture, it would be from Ezekiel 37:3 that says, "Shall these bones live? These skinny bones, these bones with a little meat, these bones with a whole heap of meat, shall they live?" And of course, there's a disclaimer. Check with your doctor before you do any of these things. This is just great, because we have space, and I want you to kind of work with me today. I just want you to do something with me today. Everybody stand. And this is simple. Just bend the knees left, bend the knees right, bend the knees left, bend the knees right, bend the knees left, bend the knees right. And I'm going to ask my boys to come up, because we're going to want to do that one more time. All right? Left, right, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. Ah, that's good. You know, Pastor started this health ministry aspect of the ministry. And I don't know if what I'm seeing, but for me, people in this church look a lot healthier. I like to see the vibrancy. This aspect of exercise that I want to touch on. I said hit it. It's labeled as a mnemonic of HIIT, which is high intensity interval exercise. So we want to just do that one more time, and we want to do it faster. Left, left, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. Good.
He said go fast, he said go fast.
They gave me 10 minutes. But for me, music really helps me to do things, you know. I've been listening to a lot of Nigerian music recently.
Oh my God.
And I like it because they're not as schooled in the dance move. And I'm a person who never could dance. But I can do their thing because it's doing almost anything you want to do. And I got a good pretend in my mind. I just, I can really have mind games going on. So the whole thing about high intensity interval exercise, it's really to get your heart rate up to about 85-90% of what they consider maximum. And I guess the quickest, shortest way to calculate that is to subtract your age from 225, and then you get your maximum heart rate. So if you were 50 and you subtracted that from 225, you probably end up with 175, maybe around that. And then you're trying to get 80% or 90% of that, which would be about 140, 150. And then, of course, when you get up there, you're going to find that you're going to breathe differently. They say if you can really talk when you've done that, you haven't really reached there yet, Which, remember the disclaimer now, right? Remember the disclaimer. But I want to say that this is for any and everybody. Whether you're young, middle-aged, old, diabetic, heart disease, even check with your doctor. But basically they're saying it's kind of for everybody. And I always say, listen to your body. And if you notice, we were created to move quickly. Sister Lisa has a baby. And it won't be long before that baby start running and can't stop running. Because once she get beyond that first step, it's like,
It's gone. Yeah.
anybody remember Brother Alex, little baby, when he was here? Or whenever he comes here? So there's a natural disposition in us to be really quickened. I think, and it's so delightful to see. We got 2 kids in the back there. And I bet you that little fella, he sat down and got up more than 100 times. That one in the glasses. And his sister was doing it, they just can't keep still. They just keep moving, you know. In our society, where I think it falls apart is once they start to go to school. You ever seen them go to the bus in the morning? Walk across the road, you parking. Oh my gosh, what a culture. Anyway, this is not about that. We're talking about getting the heart rate up to about that. And there is interval. So basically you're shooting to do it 30 seconds to 90 seconds of that high intensity, then you relaxed. You know, people say, well, if you do it for 30 seconds, you rest for a minute. You know, some people, but you want to try to get to maybe doing it for 30 seconds and resting for 30 seconds. Whatever. I'm not trying to make a rule. I'm really just trying to refresh your memories as to a principle that is innate in us and how and try to give you some recall of how you used to do it. You know, we have different experiences. Some of us run to catch a bus. You know, some of us got housework to do and you got an appointment, so you got to go faster. So as I say, I'm not here as a trainer, but just to introduce a principle to you because, as you're going to see, it has benefits. And it's a lot more efficient. Physiologically, it's a lot more oxygen demanding. It causes the metabolism of ATP to be more efficient and whatever CMPs that they use in generating energy. So that's why it is good to be cognizant of it. Not that you're going to be necessarily embarking on a structured exercise program, but that in your day you might not necessarily want to park the closest to the grocery store. You might want to park a little further off where it's safe, and then you walk fast to the store, you know. I'm so impressed. You know, sometimes when I go to the island, relatively, our country is so much poorer than here. But when you see those people, they look so strong. They're just muscular, they move, they have a fluidity of movement. I mean, it's just beautiful to watch that kind of thing. Yeah. And as I said, in your daily life, you can do it. I mean, I remember we used to do some karate training. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, Bruce Lee now. You didn't see that. That was but trust me, broke a sweat. Definitely breathing differently. My pulse is up. I might need a chair. With this type of exercise, there are some benefits. It gives us self a well-being, but trust me, I don't want you to think I've been doing this. It's a concept that I've been aware of. No, this opportunity really led to a lot of learning.
I can't take it today.
You're probably saying, if he looks like that, I don't need it.
Tennis every day.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I like tennis. I play tennis a lot. But it does give a sense of well-being. I just tried to say that when I went to Jamaica recently, I started to jog. But not only that, I started to jog. I started to go faster than a jog. A lot of people think if I'm jogging, they laugh because it's ridiculously slow. But anyway, I started to run and I could really feel my feet going. I could really feel myself bouncing. Man, I felt good. It felt nice. Yeah. It felt really nice. And so when I came back here, I kind of knew I had that in me, so I kind of took it to another level. But it it's in addition to giving you that different self-image and confidence, it is reportedly supposed to lend to longevity, which is, I've always been interested in longevity, which is why I was aware of this concept from some time back. And they think that if you really make this an active part of your daily living, it should increase your lifespan from 13 to 20%. Most people say 13%. And somebody was writing an article, and they were comparing Americans to the, I think it's what they call Hunzas. The Hunzas. The Hunzas is a tribe that is more located in Pakistan or India. But it's reported that they do have a long lifespan. The men probably live to, this is what they're saying, to about 110, and the woman 122. And they attributed that to their lifestyle of activity and also their diet. And we should put a disclaimer here also that no exercise can outdo a poor diet. So they ate a lot of organic food, food that was grown right around them. And, they lived more in the mountainous areas, so they were very active. And so they've been cited as one of the best statistics as far as longevity goes. But they say that the high intensity exercise really enhances your circulatory system. And more about that, but I was thinking about the wind. A gentle wind, it just rustles leaves. As the wind gets heavier, the trees start moving. As the wind gets heavier, a lot of other things start moving. Similarly, if you really want to say wash something, you get a pressure washer. That's what really moves the dirt. I only say that just as introductory for a concept, that they say that Americans, by they reach 35, 40, their circulatory system has been diminished by 60%. This is, I don't have a lot of scientific backup for this. It's just articles that I read. But it's a good concept. And they're saying that by you reach 60, your circulatory system is down about 80%. Now, in saying that, they also say that you must realize that in your body, there is some 60,000 miles of vasculature. Can you perceive that? That you have 60,000 miles of vasculature to you? When you measure all those arteries, all those arterioles, all of them, it's mind-boggling. That is no wonder that when you lose even 60% of it, you're still functional, because you still got another 20,000 miles at least of vasculature. So you think you're doing all right, but they compare a 40-year-old American to a 90-year-old person from the Pakistan region we were talking about. So that is mind-boggling when you really come to the realization of it. And when you see how people live on their phones and their pads and walk slowly to the bus, it's not surprising then anymore, We gotta be like Minister Winston, man. Minister Winston, he goes to university and Miramar Parkway and runs up that bridge like it's nothing and has the nerve to post it on Facebook. Minister Winston something else, he's a wicked ping pong player. Yeah, Winston, he made me give it up, man. I had no chance at all. And they also say that the high intensity interval exercise, it also increases your lymph flow. And lymph and blood is all involved in taking nutrients and oxygen to the cells. But they think the lymph is a lot involved in removing some of the the garbage, the junk, the toxicity from the cells. So it's important to have a good lymph flow. As a disclaimer, I just say this, that it says that when you do high intensity type of exercise, it decreases your libido a little bit. Grown people talk now, right? Yours ears, brother. No, but despite that, it makes the experience a lot better. So they are really endorsing it. You're not as rabbity, but you're a lot more enduring and satisfying. Let's pretend. Okay, I am running with that. So my wife has given me the time signal. Guys, I just wanted to show you something here. You know, recently I came across exercise that's called what? What is it? Burpees. And I wanted you guys to demonstrate burpees for us. All right, let's do some burpees, guys. All right. Go. What? Expecting much people except myself to be doing, a multiplicity of those. But, and I will be doing them. That's a little secret right now. Of course, the other one that they seem to do a lot is what's called the Tabata squat. You go like this, and you get up and jump, go like this. You think it works the whole body. And just the exercise guys will know all about that. And as I said, I'm not really pressing that program. I just seek to mention them. All I'm really wanting is you guys to be aware of this concept and to incorporate it in your daily lives. Now, as far as these exercise people go, they want you to do it at least twice a week. They don't think you should do it every day. But I think you should do it at least 3 times a day. Because you're not doing it 20 or 30 minutes. I like this little gadget, A girl on the job introduced it to me a couple of years ago. Of course, she had a little girly one that weighs 2 pounds. And I being a macho guy, I wanted the man one. But this is a lot too heavy. It's really heavy. I really recommend the girly one. But the main reason I like this thing is because they always talk about the 6-minute exercise. You do it all kind of ways. Trust me, if you do it long, 6 minutes, you'll be feeling some pain. But it's mainly to remind you of the 6-minute thing. It's called shake weight. And you probably could get it for $10. I don't really know. But really what I wanted to do was the 6 minutes. And encourage you to see if you can get your heart rate up for 6 minutes, even 2 or 3 times a day. Remember the disclaimer, check with your doctor. But if you're fat, if you're diabetic, if you have some heart conditions, you really can do this. And generally, it should extend your lifespan. But thank you all very much.